Hi guys. So I've turned 22 today. It's been about 8 hours since I've turned 22, and I'm gonna maintain this ritual every day. Gosh, this is gonna be weird. Like, only last year I was thinking that, I would probably wear the same gray t shirt for every birthday. And like, I've changed so much. My hair is blue, I'm wearing so many colors. But yeah, I think I'm embracing the change. So, okay, since last year I did like a whole birthday gift unwrapping sort of a thing, I thought maybe I'll make that a ritual too. So, this year I gave myself this silk, okay, and also this cute little juice that I found. So, these are my birthday gifts for myself this year. So, like, let's start unboxing this first because I'm thirsty. And this is the first thing I'm eating early in the morning, but it's okay. I got the birthday license. This is a little exciting. I'm excited for my 10 questions this year. Because last year it was like a spontaneous decision on my birthday. This year, oh, the sound. Okay, I have a test in 2 hours, so cannot wait for the sound to go away completely. But it's distant now, so I hope that my sound is the major sound and that's like a something in the background. But that's only something I'll figure out in post production. But yeah, I think this is a memory that stays with my 22nd birthday. I'm not in my home anymore, I'm in my hostel room, so there's very little things I can control, and there will be sounds, and I think that's okay. Anyway, so let's start. So I have my cards here. I also wanted to use the same cards every birthday, but like I forgot to bring them from home. But that's okay. I made my own. Maybe I think I can also see how my handwriting evolves over the years. Yeah, okay. Are you happy at the moment? So, yes, I'm happy. I'm very happy. In fact, it's the kind of peaceful, like, I'm content in life at this point. So, yeah. Okay, next question. What's the song on your mind right now? So, I remember last year it was Billie Eilish, but this year for some reason I was going back to old Taylor Swift songs a lot lately, and so the song that's stuck in my head right now is the song called Our Song. I think it was also it was like it was back when she still made country music. So yeah, I really like the vibe of the song. So should I sing it a little? Wait, let me pull out the lyrics side. Okay. I was riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. He's got a one hand feel on the steering wheel, the other on my heart. I look around, turn the radio down. He says, "Baby, it's something wrong." I say nothing, I was just thinking, oh, we don't have a song. And he says, our song is a slim skin door, sneaking out late, tapping on your window. When we're on the phone and you talk real slow, cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way you laugh the first day, man, I didn't kiss her and I should've. And when I got home, for I said amen, asking God if he could play it again. Oh, is it like, got to the hallway, well on my way to my loving bed. I almost didn't notice all the roses and the note that said, our song is a slim screen door, sing it out like talking on your window. More on the phone and you talk real slow, cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way you laugh the first day, man, I didn't kiss her and I should have. And when I got home, for I said amen, asking God if he could play it again. I've heard every album, listened to the radio, waited for something to come along that was as good as our song. Our song is the same as screen door, sneaking out like tapping on his window. When we're on the phone, I text real slow, cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way he laughs the first day, man, I didn't kiss him and I should have. And when I got home, for I said amen, asking God if he could play it again. riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. I grabbed a pen and an old napkin and I wrote down our song. Damn. This was 2006, but I think I heard it when I was in either fourth or fifth standard. So that would be 2012, 13ish. That's when I heard it for the first time. Are you productive? So yeah, I'm excited about this one. Yes, I've been very productive, both in terms of how much I'm creating and also how much I am looking inside, or even if it's related to studies. Like one day I pushed out like 20 videos, almost 20 videos on Instagram because I needed to delete the fest footages and uninstall Instagram because I had to get to studying for midsem. So yeah, I think I have been very productive lately. My favorite question. What books did you read this year? So this year I haven't read a lot of books, and that's essentially because the books I picked up are all very like the kind of books that needs a lot of time to read through. So let's start. I have them all right here. Okay. One book I don't have here, but like I'm just gonna paste it on this hand. Yep. Okay, so these are all the books I read this year. Oh, shit. This birthday has been a little chaotic, but that's okay. Okay, so let's start with one of the first things. Okay, so this one was gifted to me by my very close friend, and she didn't know that I wanted to read this for a while. So this was like this book came to me in a divine way. So yeah, I haven't read much. It's a very heavy book. This book, whenever I need to read this book, I just get this thought that maybe I should read this book. And so I feel like this book pulls me towards it whenever I need to read it. This is my first fiction after many years, in the sense that last year also I had shown a couple of books where I had read fiction, but that was not the kind of fiction that I like to indulge in. I mean, yes, it has had mythology and everything, but this is like basically what I'm trying to say is that it had no artistic content. It was good story, yes, but this is really great because this talks about, like, this was originally in Kannada, but then it was translated to English, and this talks about the lives of women, especially Muslim women, and it talks about it in a very, I mean, no, subtle way. And yeah, I think you just need to read it to, go through it. So this is fiction, but it just depicts society and their lives. I started reading this book, but I haven't gotten very far, as you can see. This is a hefty book, and yeah, I mean, I was really, last year was like the most hectic year of my life because I was in a single year, that is in 2025. I gave my final semester for fifth semester graduation. I gave sixth semester end semester exams, and also gave masters first semester in 2025. And like in that year I gave so many interviews, I did so many MSc entrance tests, and like college itself was hectic because it was the final year, and like there was a huge change. I came to hostel, and so like it was a little difficult to set my focus to read books, but like I've still tried. So yeah, I mean, this I started it before moving here, and like after moving here I haven't progressed much. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, this is a life changer. This book is really a life changer because I remember when I got here, I'm gonna make this separate video about this book because that's how much this has influenced me. This is one of the so like one fiction I showed you, two books, and yeah, this one. I mean, so what happened is that when I got here, it was a little difficult to. This video is so chaotic. I don't know, like last year I was very calm and I had my thoughts all arranged, but I think this year I'm changing that way too. But that's okay. Anyway, so back to the book. So this book talks about two types of mindset. One is a fixed mindset and one is a growth mindset. And when I got here, I was stuck in the fixed mindset, and that is why in the first semester I could not at all bring myself to do Python. Okay, so like to be fair, I haven't done anything related to computers since a while. So like the last thing I did was probably HTML in 10th standard. After that, I had nothing to do with computers. But I think I let that bias grow on me way too much, and like it led me to believe that this is out of my forte. So that's why I was like in a fix, and I attached it. Like I was scoring good in all the other subjects, but Python was such a pain in the butt. So yeah, I mean, even sir, like the course instructor, he was really cool. Like he judges cosplay at our college. So like yeah, he's a cool guy. He's young, and so he tried every way possible to help me. But I think I just wasn't ready to be helped with respect to Python. But then again, there was another subject which was very difficult in the same semester, which is developmental bio. And towards the end of the semester, somehow I started applying the rules of growth mindset to that particular subject without even knowing it. But now, when I've read this, and like, so what happened is like, I used to have crippling anxiety when it comes to exams because for the past many years, I've seen a lot of failure. And so I would never be able to study before the exam. I could never just cover as much as possible in front of the exam because for me everything has to be covered and revised many many times before I go and give the exam because I associated it with my identity. Like every failure was personal. So that was the problem. But then like with developmental biology, I just started reading. It was like a hefty book. I got it from the library and I started reading it, and I just fell in love with the subject. And I think that is what was missing for me for so long. I remember being a kid. I think it was the 2015 Manorama yearbook where I read about epigenetics for the first time, and that's when I got interested about like genetics in general, but like also biology. So I think somewhere along the line, with stupid entrance exams in our country, I think the love for science was lost because it was all rote learning and mechanically practicing. Like it's not even like you know science; you just know to copy and paste. So yeah, I mean, I think I had been in that system for so long, I had almost forgotten how beautiful the feeling is when you really love what you're studying, and it intrigues you to the core. So yeah, that's about dev bio. So now like when I've so it also has example from sports and like yeah, so this book is really nice. I think it was like a conversation that I needed to have with myself, which was very important. Okay, this is a lot that I've talked about one book. I will move on to the next. This book right here. Okay, this I have to talk about this. So this book is from one of my batchmates here in college, and I was telling everyone how didn't like reading fiction anymore, that I hadn't read fiction in a while now, and then I saw this in her room, and I was like, a mysterious novel about trekking. Let's try. So even if the language quality isn't something like it's definitely not To Kill a Mockingbird level, but it's also not a famous five level. So it's not like so that's the reason why I stopped reading fiction, because most fiction, the literary content would not be that great. But like this was like a medium level, and I was so intrigued for like after many years I was intrigued by the storyline, and so I read this in one day. I'll tell you how many pages it has. It has 378 pages. Yes, I read it all the way till here. So it has 378 pages, and mind you, I was reading this during my end semester exams. So there was this epigenetics test. Full circle. Anyway, so there was this epigenetics test that I had on, I think, I don't remember, December something. And like the day before, I was reading this and not studying that. But I still got, I think that's one of the subjects in which I got A plus overall, or maybe A. But like yeah, that's all that matters to me, honestly. But like yeah, that day it was awesome. Like I think this is the first time in a decade that I've picked up a book and like finished reading it in the same day. I was reading this book because when I was applying to colleges, I was writing my statement of purpose around epigenetics and diabetes. So I wanted to study how there are studies around how if there's famine in a particular place, then the grandchildren of the people who were affected would get diabetes. That's how like epigenetics works. um, but like that, this is the same article that I'd read many years back in Manorama, okay? But so like I thought about it from the microbiological perspective, like gut microbiome and stuff like that. So that is why I started reading this book, because I had written my SOP around it, and this is how far I had gotten, because I had a lot of exams. Even when I was giving interviews, I've read like excerpts from between. So it also has recipes on how to make probiotics or food that just have a lot of microbes in it, like healthy microbes. And you know, this is scary in the sense that this book talks about how every disease, from cancers to IBS, everything can be connected back to just bad gut health. Anyway, so this is something I will continue to read. So yeah, that's that. And okay, this is the recent edition. I haven't read much because it only came like I think a week ago, and since then I have been busy with Infovesta, that is the fest of our college. But this book, so that this book was something that connected me to my previous world, which is microbiology, and this is something that connects me to my world right now, which is sustainability science. So I came across this video how for the Great Nicobar Islands they're planning this whole township of shipyards, and yeah, it's kind of scary because they were showing how the corals moved from surrounding the island to the middle of the ocean, which basically doesn't make any sense. So this is all the legal dialogues, emails, stuff like that, and like even interactions with the local people, like yeah, a lot of scientists that this person has talked to who have independently done their research, the environmental impact assessment. So yeah, this book is something that relates to me right now. Okay, so there's one last book that I need to talk about, and that is this. So this book is my father's book. It's not mine. So the thing is that I I I had no idea what the book is about, and I picked up that book and I realized that this book is like the point source of all the other books that I read about productivity and whatever. So it talks about these basic concepts of etiology and teleology. I'm not going to explain it in this video because I'm going to make a separate video about that book as well. So yeah, I think that book has impacted me a lot because it makes a very controversial statement. It says that trauma doesn't exist, and so like when you read through it you realize what it actually means. And it also says that how like basically the root cause of human suffering is interpersonal relationships, because it gives you this exercise where it tells you that if you're drifting in the universe and there's nobody you know, like how do you feel? And so yeah, I think it's a book that I will hold on to for a while. And yeah, so that is it with all the books that I've read this year. Okay, like for the books, there was one last book that I forgot about, and that's because I'm reading it on my phone. It's like a stupid Wattpad sort of a thing, like kind of a read. It has no literary content. I don't know. I'm just reading it because when I'm sometimes alone, I've lost my earphones recently, so I can't listen to songs anymore. So sometimes I'll just sit and read books on my phone, and my phone is always on black and white mode, so it just feels like Kindle. Okay, so it's this book called Wild Side, and it's a total Wattpad-like love story. Yeah, it's not adding any value to my life, but yeah, let's just call it my guilty pleasure. Any good habits that you picked up this year? Okay, so one good habit that I picked up this year is to care less. Like I don't panic anymore, and I think that is something that I've been actively practicing. Like my test is in 1.5 hours and I'm recording this video because I think I've learned to not give a 10 marks exam so much value in your life that you stop living, you know. So yeah, that is something that is like, so I do not like being in the growth mindset. I'd say, to summarize, is one good habit that I've picked up, because I look at everything that way. Earlier, if I would post a video and it would not get views, then it would affect me. So like how I broke this cycle is by not celebrating when I get a lot of views. And similarly with marks, I just stopped being happy about the fact that I got good marks, and that's how I stopped caring about marks. And now when I study a subject, I really just study because I enjoy it. So yeah, that's one good habit that I've picked up this year. Any bad habit that you would want to quit till your next birthday? So before I tell you about this birthday's bad habit that I want to quit, let's catch up on last year's bad habit. So I haven't quit sugar at all. In fact, I'm far from it, and I think it will happen eventually. But no, I haven't achieved yet. So till next year, the bad habit that I want to quit is hmm, the bad habit that I want to quit is talking a lot. Like, I know that I am a good listener, but it's just that most of the times when I'm talking to people, I do not consciously try to listen. So I think that is one bad habit that I want to change till next year. Series that you're currently watching or have finished this year. So currently I'm watching Ragnarok, but I have watched a lot of series this year. So I'll have to start reading, okay, because there's way too many. So during the summer, so the initial part of the year, I finished watching Manifest. It's like about a flight that disappears and lands 5 years later. So I think it's inspired by MH370, or that other flight that there was a rumor landed after 22 years, whatever. So like it's either of the two. So like that, and then it had a lot of seasons. I think it had 5 seasons. So I was really invested in it, and I wanna forget about the plot and rewatch it again. I really like that one. Then, like towards the end of the year, I started watching a lot of I don't know, romantic rom-com sort of things. So I watched The Kissing Booth. I watched Business Proposal. Oh, I'll tell you how I got into Korean dramas. So I was watching To All the Boys, and then after that I watched Exo Kitty, and then I started craving watching K drama. So that's how. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching K dramas. Anyway, so yeah, we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. And then, okay, so Exo Kitty, I told you. Life with the Water Boys. And then I saw Destined with You, which was also Korean. Then I watched Demon Slayer because they screen movies at our campus every weekend. And so one weekend, one of my classmates asked for all of us to go and watch Demon Slayer with her because she's a huge fan. And so, like, me being the nice friend that I am, I just went and I loved it. So it was the Infinity Castle. This has happened before with me. So, like, I had never watched a single video of like the Marvel productions, but then like even after Endgame happened, everything all through that I was living under a rock. I had no idea about how dope Marvel is. But then I watched Spider-Man Homecoming. Either no, No Way Home. That's the video. That's the movie I saw for the first time in a theater. I don't know why. And then I went back home and started watching from Hulk, like the first movie. So like I think I watched around 83 movies or maybe more than that in the whole year. Yeah, I was like, let's just enjoy it. Anyway, so yeah, but that was I think back in 2022 or 2023. So yeah, similarly, after I watched Demon Slayer, now I'm starting to watch the series. I haven't watched it much, but yeah, I'm on season 1 still. Okay, then I was watching. Oh, I got obsessed with the Jurassic Park movie series, so I watched all of them. And then I watched The Dictator. And then there's this series called The Good Place. And the same person who directed The Good Place also had another with almost the same cast. And so, like, there's this elderly actor, I don't remember his name, sorry. I should. But like he was there in The Good Place, and then he was also there in this other series called Man on the Inside. And Man on the Inside is the series where this old man has retired and he has nothing to do in life anymore. His wife has died and he's processing grief and whatever. And then somebody approaches him for him to be a detective. And the reason why they approach him is because there's some sort of robbery in an old age home. So that's why he goes undercover. So it's like a very wholesome story. So yeah. Then I watched all four, I think 3 or 4, whatever seasons were there on Amazon Prime. I watched Family Man, in my winter vacation when I went home. And then I was watching Dark in the starting of the year 2025, but then I kind of lost interest because I'm not intellectual enough to understand Dark. And then I also watched the latest season of Ginny and Georgia that came out in 2025. And of course, I watched the fifth season of Stranger Things. So I think that pretty much covers everything. On to my next question. Are you close to God? Yes, very. In the sense that I always feel the presence of God. I feel God's hand above my head. And I know that there's someone above me who's protecting me all the time. And I've given into God's will. I know that if I wish for something and I get it, then it's good. But if I wish for something and I don't get it, then it's better, because in that case I'm getting something which wasn't my plan. I'm getting something that was God's plan, and that's definitely much better. But like I mentioned last year that I don't pray on a daily basis. I still don't pray on a daily basis, even though I have the photo frames of the gods close to my heart in my room. And I did initially pray a lot when I came here. I used to, put on the incense sticks every day. But whenever I go out to walk, I get flowers, even if I don't pray. But like, I'm always talking to God inside my head. So, in terms of whether I pray every day, no, I don't. But I'm definitely way more closer to God than I was last year. How many friends or significant relationships do you have? So it's still the same, it's still two, but I think it's turning into like three. Like the girl whom I got the book from, the hype. We're getting close. Any recent creative piece you'd want to share, and current hair accessory? So I haven't been creative for quite a while now, but when I got here, I was making a lot of drawings and sketches. So I think the one that I can show you is back from September, October. But yeah, please bear with me. I mean, this is the creative piece, okay? This entire board. Anyway, so like I'll show you this thing. So when I got here, I started making these sort of things where I would depict whatever I did in the entire day. So that is something creative that I can show you. There's one more page that's similar. Made this because when I got here, the sky was so blue and there were fluffy clouds, and then like the summary of the day that I did. This is a iron ice cream, whale ice cream that I had, an airplane that I saw, money plant. I haven't completed it yet. Money plant that I got from my campus and I put it into a water bottle. I bought the water bottle, drank the water just so that I could do this. This is my first time having cup noodles, and this is yeah, this is back from September. This is some experiment that we did, and then this is me. I was like, this is from a picture. I just jumped because I was happy, and then these are my plants that I had at that moment. So yeah, that's it for creative piece. Now, hair accessory, what do I even tell you? So the thing is that ever since I've moved here, like my system has recently started to get organized. So I've lost a lot of hair accessories. So I'll show you what I have right now. So this is pretty much all I have at the moment. I use this whenever I wanna tie my hair a little, and then I usually wear this a lot, but that's not the hair accessory. But there's also this one rubber band, but yeah, that's that. Nothing fancy this year. I'm afraid that's all. Okay then, bye. Catch you in the next year.